Cool. It just helps me to have a sense of, I don't want to be too redundant, right? I want to talk about things you guys want to hear about. So I'll give you the quick and dirty of how this all happened. So, yeah, we're 80 on strong display if you were at home. Good. Appreciate that, Scott. I got to keep the chat up. That's probably a good idea, especially since Go Boston's currently on it. So, we started here. If you've seen these bottles, it sounds like a lot of you have had these bottles before. These are Adelphi single casks. Adelphi as a company actually goes back to it's 199 years this year. So 1826. Adelphi was originally a distillery about 2.5 miles from where I sit right now in Glasgow. So it was on the south side of the river. For those of you that have had the pleasure of visiting this beautiful city, in a district called the Gorbals, and it was a distillery owned by a man named Archibald Walker, who also had distilleries in Liverpool, Limerick, and Ireland. He kind of had a little bit of an empire in the middle bit of the 19th century, just as whiskey and especially blending was starting to be a real thing from a commercial perspective. Things kind of went downhill. Start of the 20th century, there was actually a big accident where one of the washbacks collapsed, triggered a chain reaction for the other washbacks and flooded the entire street. And that actually killed a man and like 3 horses. So it was a pretty large amount of liquid. And yeah, it was basically just used for warehousing for several decades. And then it is now the Glasgow City Mosque as of 1970. So it gives you a sense of how Glasgow changed. But in 1993, and I promise we'll talk about whiskey. You guys are here to drink whiskey. I know you have whiskeys in front of you. Feel free to like get into that first one. And I'll talk about it shortly here. But yeah, 1993, the great-great-grandson of Archibald Walker, Jamie Walker, kind of was learning about the family history, and he found out that the brand was actually still kind of tacitly owned by a law firm in London. So he bought the brand back, his great-great-grandfather's brand, Adelphi, and turned it into an independent bottler. So that's what we've been for the last 31 years, going on 32 now in November. In 2003, so a decade later, he sold it to the 2 families that are still our majority shareholders, for both Adelphi and Ardnamurchan. And those, at the time, those 2 gentlemen, unfortunately, one of them passed 3 years back, though his family is still very much involved. They hired my boss, our managing director, Alex Bruce, in 2004, so 21 years ago. And Alex is the guy who transformed Adelphi from a tiny little operation. I think when he bought it, there were 3 casks and a couple hundred archive bottles, to a still tiny, but more viable and better known operation. We bottle 80 to 100 casks a year for markets all over the globe. And then fast forward 9 years from there, actually less than that, the idea process kind of started in 2008-ish. Alex sort of saw that demand was going to be quite high, which it has been for these last several years, for liquid. And so we built a source of liquid, a distillery, right? And so that's how Ardnamurchan came to be. So I work for both companies. I do sales all over the globe. I cover the US, I cover Canada, I cover emerging markets. There's some Turkey, UAE, all sorts of stuff, for both brands. So we actually just turned 11 Ardnamurchan 2 days ago. So the first distillate was August 1st of 2014. So we now have 11-year-old single malt whiskey, which is pretty exciting. Right, liquid, let's drink. So kind of between Adelphi and Ardnamurchan is our newest brand, I'll say that. Not our newest bottling or newest expression, but our newest kind of its own brand, which is, if you guys can see that passably, it's decent, McLean's Nose. So the reason this sits sort of between Adelphi and Ardnamurchan is that it is a blended Scotch. So we're kicking things off with a blend, but it's not just any blend. Have most people already had this?
I mean, yeah, we have because it's been at our event.
Several bottles.
So
Yeah, take you out to the shack and show you all the bottles.
that's what I like to hear.
Tommy?
It's like $27 or something. It's incredible.
Yeah, it's pretty affordable. Well, look, I won't go fully into it. Like you guys already know what it is, right? Like that's the exact concept. We wanted to make good, interesting drinking whiskey at an affordable price. So that is really where it sits. When the team, this was slightly before I actually joined the week the product launched, which was zesty. We'll put it that way. But when they were putting the ideas together, they initially were thinking about a blended malt. But I think blended malt is a much maligned category. But I think the fundamental issue is that it can be really, really tasty, but it ends up sitting at the same price point as some pretty good single malts that are out there on the market, right? If you've got a blended malt that no one's heard of, that's the same price as Aaron 10, Ben Romick 10, lots of really good engaging single malts with age statements, you can run into I think it's a risky play. And so the team decided to turn this into a blended Scotch. So it is the highest malt content of any blend on the market. So 70% malt. I think Compass Box's highest is like 64, 66. Damn good whiskey, don't get me wrong, but we wanted to just nip them just by a touch there. Good friends of ours, the Compass Box team. And it's West Coast styled, so it's modeled after old school. For those of you that have had the privilege maybe of tasting blends that were made back in the 70s and 80s, whiskey was a different beast. It's pretty tasty stuff for a tremendously cheap price. And crucially, most of those blends had some funk, some peat, some character to them, right? It's not just flowers and apples and then light on your palate, right? That's not necessarily a bad thing, right? To each his or her own. I get it. But we're a West Coast company, and about half of the composition is Ardnamurchan, right? So this is a West Coast blend. So lightly peated, natural color. I'll even admit to it. So I'm drinking Maclean's on a large cube right now, and you can see already that is not chill filtered, right? That's a hazy whiskey, because that's dropped down below 46. Pretty decent amount of sherry maturation. And yeah, it's pretty simple in composition. For those that don't know, I mentioned it's about half Ardnamurchan. The remaining 15 to 20% of malt is from Campbelltown. It's not Springbank single malt, so you guys can piece that together. Can you imagine the uproar if we just toss Springbank into a blend? Only they get to do that. And then the grain. Actually, let's see how well people know their Scottish grains. So it's from a grain distillery on the outskirts of Edinburgh. Anyone have that? It's tricky.
Invergordon?
Nope.
North British?
North British. Well done. Yeah, so North British is down in the neighborhood of Dalry, to the southwest of Edinburgh. So yeah,
Carl, if it's
what's that?
Sorry, if it's Campbelltown but not Springbank, is it Glen Scotia?
Yeah,
I love Glen Scotia.
I didn't tell you that. It's technically Teaspoon Glen Scotia. But yeah, it's effectively Ardnamurchan, Glen Scotia, and North British. The North British, I think it's important to say, we actually genuinely feel it's a component of the whiskey rather than something to make it affordable, right? I think the grain, the sweetness, but it also has a youthful. It's a drinkable grain. Like when we're blending this, it's not out of place when putting it next to, again, youthful, not particularly aged Ardnamurchan or Glen Scotia, but it just works out really, really well. So yeah, that's Maclean's Nose. Did you say it's $27 in Texas?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yep.
$25.99 is, I think, with a key card discount.
Outrageous.
So
yeah, I saw it on a shelf out here in California as I've been hunting. Good
to hear. We can send that back to Sam. We'll be happy.
So how much influence did Charles have on the selection of the of the blend or any of it?
Great question. Some certainly. So when if we're honest, Alex had a pretty good idea when he was putting the whiskey together, but we've worked with Charlie. Thank you for bringing this up, by the way, because I probably would have just blown right past it. We've worked with Charlie for pretty much the entire duration of Adelphi being an independent bottler. So he was actually director of Adelphi in the 90s. So a lot of people don't know that. So we've been really close with him. So he did sample the inputs. He had a say. I would characterize it more as an homage to him than like a full collaboration, right? Charlie's amazing. If you ever get to meet him or have a dram with him, he's just a wonderful guy. But he's funny because he's known. I mean, he obviously has access to the most insane single malts imaginable, right? But he is a guy who is all about a good couple fingers of blend on the rocks, right? He likes himself some blend, so it's a little bit of a nod to him. But yeah, he was involved when we put it together. He was at the launch event, and yeah, we remain really close with him. The other bit I should mention, it's kind of a double entendre. So yes, it's a nod to Charlie, but the drawing on the label is a rocky outcropping, which is about a 6-minute drive down the road from Ardnamurchan Distillery. And that happened to be called McLean's Nose and has been for decades, like since the early 20th, maybe even late 19th century. And that was kind of a navigational tool. If you look at the map, I'm a map person, so you guys are going to have to listen to this. But basically, if you were coming in on a ship pre-GPS and trying to get to the port of Oban, McLean's Nose was a really defining landmark. And if you stayed left at McLean's Nose, you ended up in the sea loch of Loch Sunert, which is what the distillery is on the shores of. If you stayed right, you went between the Isle of Mull and the Morvern Peninsula, where our friends at McNean are. And that takes you all the way down to the port of Oban. So it was one of those things where once you see McLean's Nose, you stay right. And when we found that out, we obviously had to trademark that. That'd be a complete waste if we didn't keep that name, right? So that's the story of the name and of the label. But yeah, we're really proud of it, right? Like 27 US post export with help from the entire Impex team to keep that price sharp. That's what the whiskey's for, right? It's for drinking, it's for bringing to the beach, it's for sharing with friends. It's good enough to dram. I'll stand by that any day of the week. But if you want it in a cocktail, it makes an outrageous highball. It's just good stuff. So yeah, we're really proud of that whiskey. Anyone disagree? I'm happy to hear it.
I think it's a solid whiskey. Yeah, it's good. Solid for
Cool.
sure. I put a little water to it, and it brought out a little bit, just a little bit more of the sweetness, I think.
Yeah.
So
yeah, absolutely. That's
Well,
what I'm doing on
I
my
like
list.
that it's bottled at 46. I mean, that tends to be kind of right in my sweet spot of where I like to sit.
Yeah. I think it's pretty unlikely. We do technically make an Adelphi blend that's under 46, but that's kind of an outlier. With this has a little bit more in line with Ardnamurchan, which will never go below 46. We don't even have the chill filtration technology. Like, it's a $10,000 piece of equipment. Like, why would we buy that? So yeah, we don't have
everything that comes from Ardnamurchan is craft, 100% craft, non-chill filtered, no color added, 46% or above.
Correct.
Beautiful.
Every single whiskey we've ever made.
Nice.
In fact, even the pre-3-year-old spirits were the same. Yeah, we don't mess with it at all.
Right.
Yeah, obviously it's reduced depending on bottling strength, although most of what we put out is relatively high. But yeah, never any color. And it should say that on every label we put out. If it doesn't, that means we made a mistake, which happens more often than we care to admit. But cool. Any other questions about McLean's Nose or me or the company before I kick into the actual single malts?
Really quick, you mentioned that the composition was mostly Ardnamurchan with some Glen Scotia and some North British. Is that percentage and like going to be consistent throughout the whiskey's history? And then are there also going to be like batch variations between them?
Yeah, great question. Yes and yes. Or sorry, no and yes. So consistent in the sense that that's the recipe. But there's batch variation on every single whiskey we make. So actually, it's a good opportunity for me to explain blending, which is a pretty rare part of what I get to do. I'm ridiculously lucky. So I mentioned my boss, Alex Bruce. He was in the industry even before Adelphi. He worked for Justerini and Brooks. So he's been in liquid for going on 35, 40 years. He's a master of the quake. He's one of those guys. He could easily name himself master blender. No one would even blink an eye. But his mindset has been since the start of Ardnamurchan, like, why I'm hiring people that are passionate. Like, why would we not fold them into the process? So obviously that's tremendously attractive as an employee. So there's 6 of us. You do have to earn it. It's not like you just get hired into the blending team, right? But there's basically Alex, our managing director, Connell, our sales director, and then 4 of us. So there's 3 of us that do global sales, and then our marketing manager, Jenny, who worked for Kilkerran for a decade. So she knows a thing or two about whiskey. So yeah, those are the 6 on the blending team. And to get back to your question, basically, yeah, we'll have an idea. Look, it's going to be about those percentages that I said, majority Ardnamurchan on the malts, a good dose of the Campbelltown, and then 30% or so of the grain. But it's always to taste. It'll always be to taste. And that tenet will hold true with all these whiskeys we have here. If, for example, the cask strength is a great example, and that's later, but that has fluctuated as much as 10% from kind of the recipe that we start the day with when we're blending. Even 15% in terms of the peated to unpeated, the bourbon to sherry, age. It's really down to, hey, how are these samples doing? It's always quality driven. But yes, there is absolutely a recipe in mind.
Hey, Carl.
The Ardnamurchan that y'all are using.
Oh, go for it, Caitlin.
No, you go ahead.
I was just gonna say, like, going off of what you just said, you kind of hinted at earlier, you had a good relationship with Compass Box. Do they help with, like, inspire the initial recipe at all? Or how did the initial recipe come to be?
For McLean's Nose?
Yes.
It's a good question. It was before I joined, so I don't want to, as I said in my preface, I won't say with absolute confidence. I don't think, as friendly as we are, they are obviously direct competition. So I don't think that we consulted them on the idea, but I guarantee that Alex, Connell, Jenny, Graham, and Antonia benchmarked against their whiskeys. They're very, very good blends and blended malts. In fact, we tend to benchmark more than we ought to. If we want to use the verb benchmark, that just means drink. So yeah, I'm sure there were some friendly conversations, but certainly I would be surprised if they actually were divulging what we were really getting after before the launch with them.
That's helpful. Thank you.
Well, possible. So I won't rule it out. I can confirm though. I'll check with them.
The Ardnamurchan that y'all are using, is it going to be the 80, the half peated, half unpeated, or is it a little bit more peated? Or
good question. So that will also vary. There's probably a little bit more peated just because of the compositional breakdown of the other whiskeys. But it is bourbon and sherry, unpeated and peated. And then from there, we'll tweak it based on making sure it's McLean's nosy. So there's some of all, but yeah, there will be a decent whack of peated Ardnamurchan in there for sure.
okay.
Oh, hey, Carl, on your kind of background and journey, super interested. I'm making a transition myself, job wise, and how do you get into the biz and then get yourself from Massachusetts to Scotland. Like that's a path that I'd be super interested in.
Yeah, extraordinary.
Cool. Waiting on that one.
Very, very good fortune, honestly. Look, like I kind of, I don't like talking about myself, but I'll try to answer your question. I sort of inadvertently worked the whole supply chain in the US. So I managed a bar and restaurant. I worked for a brewery, so producer, albeit not spirits, distributor, importer. And then I actually got this wild job with Scottish government, which is probably the most direct answer to your question. They have trade specialists across the globe who are basically paid to help companies export or go the other direction, but in this instance, export to that particular market. So I was basically telling like whiskey, gin, and beer companies about the 3-tier system, control states, potentially introducing them to importers, but just as often telling them that they were nowhere near ready for a country as ridiculous as the United States when it comes to alcohol. If you're a mom and pop gin distillery with 3 employees, you're just going to waste 5-6 figures of money and not get anywhere. So half of it was that. It was like, hey, maybe try the Netherlands first, and then, when that's successful, look at the US. But I helped a little bit Alex and Connell with Canada in that role. And then, if I'm honest, I just kind of shot my shot. So they were option 1A. I told them I would be interested if they were growing. They weren't growing at the time, which is entirely fair, obviously. But then they came back about 6 to 8 months later and basically said, "Are you ready?" So that's the answer. But I think, yeah, I have worked in the industry for quite a while, just bounced around a little bit. And in theory, that means I know a couple things. Whether that's true or not is another question, but
no, that's cool, man. Congratulations. That
Thanks.
Sounds like an awesome path.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Cool. Happy to answer more questions, but let's get to whiskey too. So this is the flagship. This is the core. And
Carl, just to let you know, I got the list later. So if you're gonna let everybody know what we're that way they know.
Oh yeah, sure. Sorry.
Sorry,
Well,
I'll just
That's my fault.
I didn't get it out, so I was like, all right, well, I already
no.
sent out 2 emails. I'm like, we'll just go through it. It's
no fuss at all. Well, if I'm wrong, call me on it, Caitlin, but I think I've got it here. So this is flagship. Yeah, we're on 2.
Yes.
Okay, cool. Right. So Ardnamurchan single malt. Your label in the States looks slightly different still. This goes back to, frankly, us being a small company, learning things. Thank you, Caitlin. So we've made some light label shifts, but it's the same whiskey, same recipe. And yeah, Caitlin alluded to it, right? So we make an unpeated and a peated distillate on the peninsula. Caitlin has been, she's driven the roads.
Yeah.
And has anyone else been to Ardnamurchan? Probably not. Yeah.
How far are you from Inverness?
What's that?
How far are you from Inverness?
4 hours.
It's still a bit, yeah.
4 hours. All right.
Yeah.
The best way I found is
We'll be there
getting
in
the
this
ferry to Tobermory.
Yeah, I won't be on that side.
Yeah.
We're basically 3 to 4 hours from anywhere with human beings.
Yeah.
That'd be the way that so Inverness is on the East Coast. We're about as west as you can get.
Right.
No taxis, no buses.
Yeah, there's one bus a day. There's a ferry. There is technically a way to get there without the ferry because it is the mainland. So that the end of our road, for those of you that are map inclined like myself, is the westernmost point of the British mainland, full stop. So there's a lighthouse, there's some islands, and then there's Canada, right? That's what we're looking at. So we are on that peninsula. As Caitlin just said, right, there's a ferry from the Isle of Mull, so you can. And there's also a way to get to McNean on Morvern, which is the neighboring peninsula. It's kind of like Morvern is kind of the thumb of the mitten, and Ardnamurchan's kind of the long stretchy bit there. I don't know, made that up. But yeah, you can do McNean, Ardnamurchan, and Tobermory, and then you can do Ben Nevis and Fort William. You can do a little bit of a whiskey circuit over a few days there, but it's the middle of nowhere, right? It's
Right.
We're way out there, but crucially, we really want to have peat in our whiskey, right? It's a Western Highland single malt. When you think West Coast, you do think Springbank, you think Talisker, you think Lechick, right? You think these whiskeys with funk, with character. We want to kind of recreate that slowly, but also create our own DNA in the process. So we do about 6 months for each. And then unlike someone like Tobermory, who has Tobermory as the unpeated and Lechick as the peated, we tend to, not always, but we tend to incorporate them into the same Ardnamurchan brand. So what you're drinking with Ardnamurchan core, Ardnamurchan single malt is 50-50. We peat to 30 parts per million, and it's Highland peat, so fundamentally different from anything on Islay. The peat's from Aberdeenshire. We, if anyone asks, and that's one of the biggest gaps in our sustainability, which I'll talk about in a little bit. And in terms of maturation, it's 2/3 ex-bourbon casks, 1/3 ex-sherry. So we have a direct line for all of our bourbon and sherry casks. So bourbon is from Old Forester by way of an amazing company called Kentucky Bourbon Barrel, who basically processes all of our casks, checks them for leaks, and recoupers as needed in Louisville.
Wow.
So we obviously pay a premium for that, and we ship whole after the.
I say they're whole; they're not in staves. Wow.
Yeah. So if you think about the practicalities, it means the casks are quite good, and we've had tremendous luck with bourbon matured distillate, but also the guys in our warehouse are pretty handy, but they're not master coopers, right? So it's really nice for Glenfiddich to be 4 miles from Speyside Cooperage. That's not quite our situation, right? There's no cooperage within 3 hours of us. So if we got shipments and staves or casks that were beat to hell, we would have to figure that out once they arrived in the middle of nowhere on the West Coast. Whereas if we pay someone stateside, it makes a lot more sense when you're receiving. You put them into circulation and you fill them next fill day, right? It's just a much more logical process. So we pay for it, but it also does make sense, and it makes for really good whiskey. Sherry wise, we work predominantly with Miguel Martin, who is the godfather of sherry maturation in Jerez in the south of Spain. So he does the cast for Glenfarclas, for Macallan, for Glendronach. Basically, if you name a well-regarded, predominantly sherry matured whiskey, it probably has Miguel casks involved somewhere there. Kaylin, do you know on Glenallachie? I probably should, but I don't.
I think there's a variety of different sherry casks I've seen them use.
Yeah, I'll text Mustard. I'm sure they use him to some degree.
Yeah.
I just don't know how much. But anyway, Miguel has an absolute insane operation in Jerez. I've been to his warehouses. They are it's outrageous. He has an empire down there of his own. But crucially, his casks are tremendously good for aging single malt. So we have had 4, 5, 6-year-old sherry butts that look like Coca-Cola. Like, it's just the activity, the quality, the consistency is tremendous. And it's not just, yes, they're seasoned casks. We can talk about that if we want to. Does anyone know that? Everyone know the distinction?
Yeah, I think we should.
Yeah, you think we should?
Yeah, I mean,
Todd wants to.
yeah, I think we should. I mean,
Yeah.
I think the group, some people may not know what
Perfect. Happy to. So almost zero sherry matured whiskeys that any of us drink come from what the industry calls a bodega cask, which is to say It came from a sherry producing, as in a place making sherry for consumption and then selling the casks on. So that is what happens when sherry gained popularity as a maturation vessel, right? Sherry was immensely popular, particularly in the UK, for drinking. That is no longer the case. No one drinks sherry, and everyone drinks whiskey. So what do? You effectively, and Miguel started this in the 80s, which is why he has the empire. It's been 40 years basically. He creates a concentrated sherry vinegar, which is used as sherry vinegar, but it's not sherry. It's not like drinking sherry. He does make sherry, but in small volumes as compared to this project. And that seasons the casks, and then they're sold to us. So they're basically created with the explicit purpose of selling to the Scotch whiskey industry, or potentially to another whiskey, non-Scotch. But that is the industry is creating barrels for maturation, not creating sherry, which then creates barrels, if that makes any sense. So
Are
that's
all of them.
go ahead.
I'm sorry. Are
No.
all of them Oloroso for the flagship, the one we're drinking right now? Is this all
No.
Oloroso? Is there different
Great.
cherries?
Great question. Mostly Oloroso, a touch of PX. We always throw, it usually ends up being 5 to 8% of the sherry casks in the batch. So even lower on the batch itself. But there's enough to give it that little extra sweetness that you might not get from Oloroso, depending on your palate.
I could have just asked Todd. Because he can smell PX cast from like 5 miles away.
Is that right?
He's the PX man.
PX ring.
Gives his spidey sense.
I love it.
I'm the sherry master, as they call me.
Yeah,
Sherry
King.
bomb master. Anything that's sherry.
There
comes
are
from
worse
me,
fates than that.
right?
So just in terms of how this hits the palate, like I'd love to hear what you guys think. Hopefully you guys have this on your bar, drink it. We try to keep this relatively affordable as well. But this is the one that's about balance, right? I think that's the critical word. So for us, balance doesn't mean lacking in character. We want there to be a little bit of funk. Yes, there's a little bit of peat. It has softness. It has nuance, I think. And this is the whiskey that myself, Caitlin, if you bring this to a festival or a show, you get a lot of people who say, I hate peat, right? Because they're used to Lafroig and it's stuck in their heads, which then just makes me competitive. And I say, well, now you have to try this, right?
Mhm.
So a lot of times, sometimes it's not for them, and that's fine, right? There's plenty of good whiskey out there. It doesn't need to be Ardnamurchan. I mean, it should be, but it doesn't need to be. But a lot of times people are like, oh shit, like that's actually quite tasty. Like, would I have chosen it at first blush? Maybe not, but like, thank you for showing it to me. And that's the biggest win we can get, right? It's like teaching someone a little bit of something different about what Scotch whiskey is. There's obviously this big perception in some people of all Scotch is smoky, which I'm guessing we all know is ridiculous, but like that's the best part of having a whiskey with balance, because there's some fruit, there's salinity, there is some smoke. But that's why I love this whiskey, and that's why I love to drink it too. It's still the thing I drink the most of, despite having unfair access to tasty stuff. So yeah, that's my bit on the flagship.
Hey Carl, how much variation is there batch to batch of this single malt? I'm just curious because we had actually bought this a few years ago, I think 2023, and I have like tasting notes on it that I wrote down. It's like the 08.2203, and it was like so much more savory in my notes than I'm tasting now, which I actually like the variation. It's cool, but
Cool.
does it target the same profile? Is it just like whatever comes out that year is what the notes are going to be?
It targets the same profile. We always, like when we finish a blend, we always blind it against the previous batch. But if they're different and we can't tell which one is the new one, then that's great, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So,
no, I get that.
so yeah, definitely there are batches that are a little bit more savory. Like the big thing I think for us is, I think that salinity is starting to be a little bit of a calling card for us.
Mhm.
So we want to make sure that there's that drying salty. I hesitate to say coastal or maritime because it sounds like marketing bullshit, but like we are on the coast, right? It's salt water right outside the door. We do want that kind of connection to where we're making whiskey. But within that, yeah, 100% there will be differences. The other thing I like to raise is the whiskey is only getting older, right? So we don't age statement other than the 10-year, which has come and gone in the US. But we're kind of treating it the same way Kilchoman has, to my knowledge at least, which is to say Machier Bay and Seneg, if you're familiar with the Kilchoman core, have gotten older in the last 20 years, like since or in the last, when did they launch? Don't know. But since launch, they started with a younger product than they sell now, right? They're letting it kind of mature and gain a little bit of depth as a product. And we're doing the same. So our newest batch of cask strength, which is the other, and for my palate, distillate forward, the most distillate forward whiskey we make. The newest batch has 8-year-old whiskey in it, right? And we're in 11. We just turned 11. Whereas, a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, the cask strength would be mostly 6, maybe a little bit of 7, maybe a little bit of 5. Now we're kind of doing mostly 6, mostly 7, maybe a little bit of 8. So it's trending slightly older. And we'll see what happens. But that's another thing just in terms of variation between batches to keep in mind.
There are 2 batches out in Texas right now. Just a heads up. I did the one that you can mainly find everywhere, but there's 2 different colored boxes on some shelves. You'd have to kind of look and see. One is slightly darker, and that one actually has 2 more Oloroso casks on it. And that one is like dark chocolate and sea salt. It's so good. But they're a little hard to find. I've just found them at some random stores. Right.
Is one of those still with the date code then? Is one without and one with?
I'm not sure on that. I'd have to double check. I have some of them here, so
that's no big deal.
I just have to scan the back whenever we're out of the Zoom or the video.
So Carl, when you say date code, it's like the box says 80/5.23 or something like that.
Yeah, that's just.
And so code. Would that just be May 2023?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then the batch number is the third number. So we've basically done away with it, so you guys can see my bottle, hopefully.
Yeah, with blank. So the blank one, but then if I get what Caitlin's saying, maybe there's some out on the shelf that's like, got a 5 and some that might have a 10 or an 8. Or Caitlin, were you talking about color variations between ones that are marked 80 and nothing?
Well, it's not so much color variation. So on the back, they have these QR codes, and this is how I reel a lot of people into Ardnamurchan, or I always did. It tells you literally everything you want to know, like who bottled it, on what date, how much each person bottled, the barley, like the varietal type, where they sourced it from. It's absolutely insane. It makes you into a whiskey nerd if you're not already one.
It is unbelievable. Unbelievable transparency. The best in the game. No
Appreciate
doubt.
That. That's the idea, right? The way, and I think this is important too. You can scan it. You can go down the rabbit hole, right? So this is the other thing about age statements, right? So we don't put it on there because we're a young distillery, and I think we would alienate more consumers by slapping a 6 on a whiskey than we would gain, right? But if you want to know the age of the whiskey, we give you the age of every damn cask that's in the bottle, right? So we're not hiding anything. It's not non-age statement from a sense of like, oh, this is young whiskey. We're not trying to tell you. That's not the case at all. It's simply, hey, look, scan the QR code, look up cut points, look up yeast varietal, whatever you want, or just pour yourself a dram, whatever you want. I'm happy either way, right? I just want people to enjoy tasty whiskey. And obviously for a crew like this, there's probably a good number of you that like to get nerdy on it. But there's plenty of people who don't, and that's okay, right? Put it on the rock. I don't care. Enjoy your whiskey. Go.
I think a lot of people look at age and color and they think, oh well, it's not old enough, or it's not, it's not dark enough. And it took me a little while to say, okay, yeah, I need to try things that are lighter and younger. And I think as you take your journey, you start to learn, like, it's not really about that. It's all about like what it was in, and the wood, and where the distillate was comes from. And there's a whole huge gamut of what makes that palate in that bottle, what it is. And so I like dark, like when it comes to sherries, I like dark sherries, but I've also found that lighter sherries also are amazing, and they're just amazing at different times of the year, and different. I mean, there's a lot of things at play, but yeah, for sure.
No, completely. I mean, look, everyone's palate comes from a different starting point, right? Like, and that's people. Like I said, you should drink what you like to drink, and I hope it's Ardnamurchan. And if it's Glenallachie or Kilchoman or whoever, like, great, right? Like, have at it. That's tasty stuff. I have no issue with that. We just want to be able to tell you if you want to know, right? And I think for me, just speaking from my own experience, you get to a point where, like, there's a lot of whiskey out there that only tastes like cask, right? It tastes like what the wood was, and that's it. And at that point, it could be Buffalo Trace, it could be Heaven Hill, or it could be Glenfarclas, it could be Glenfiddich. You don't really know or care who made it. You're just tasting sherry cask. You're tasting bourbon cask. We want distillate to be part of our whiskey, right? That's the part that makes it Ardnamurchan. Yes, we source good cask for a reason. That's a huge, huge part of the flavor of any whiskey, no doubt, right? But for us, the distillate is the defining characteristic, right? Yeah, of course, a Madeira cask is cool, right? It's going to make a different characteristic, a different trait.
Right.
But if we can get that salty, lightly smoky coastal vibe and make you think, oh man, that might be an Ardnamurchan, we've done our job, right? Like, that's like, think about companies like Talisker or Springbank, where you've got people who will nose it and be like, that's a Talisker. Like, that's the creme de la creme of selling whiskey. If people can identify your whiskey on nose or on taste, epic. So we want to have that DNA if we can. But we're young, we're getting there. Cool. Whiskey trace. Let's do it. I'm talkative, so I'm gonna try to keep it reasonable. Are we on Madeira? Speaking of Madeira,
You're on Madeira.
Right? Yeah, I think so.
Yep.
Cool. Now we're talking here.
Yeah. So this is probably my favorite release we've done in the last year.
Oh wow, that's really yummy.
I don't want to color your judgment of it. If you hate it, please say so. I won't be offended, I promise. My favorite thing, and this actually kind of segues from what we were just talking about, right? My favorite thing about this is, look, I drink a lot of Ardnamurchan, so I probably am looking for this, but even on the nose, yes, absolutely Madeira. If you're familiar with Madeira cask, it noses like Madeira. It absolutely noses like Ardnamurchan. And on the palate, it's Ardnamurchan too. And I think a lot of cask finishes, whether it's Madeira, port, some of these bigger, more flavorful fortified wines, tend to be, in my opinion, kind of overcasked. And that's my palate. It's no offense to those bottlings. It's just not what I'm looking for. But for me, this is still so salty. When we were putting this together, and no one in the UK knew what this was, but because they call it something different over here. Do you guys know those smokehouse almonds? Like the heavily seasoned almonds with like this kind of spicy kick. This is that for me. There is Madeira sweetness. There's that red fruit, that cranberry thing, but it has that like savory, salty thing that I love about our whiskey. I'm just a huge fan. So this is 52% alcohol. Again, to the blending process. The flagship, sorry, I don't even know if I mentioned this, is 46.8 always. The cask strength is always natural cask strength. And then the cask releases or the limited releases, we due to taste. So the sherry that you've had in market was 50. The mezcal that we're having later is 55. This one we quite literally liked. So let's be honest. This is a business, right? So if we are going through the blending and it tastes as good at 50 as at 55, we'll bottle it at 50, right? We get more bottles to sell to more people. That's just factual. This was one where we liked it genuinely more at 52 than at 50, but not quite as much at 55. It lost some of the lightness at 55, and that's why we did 52. So that is literally how we make proof, is where's the whiskey best? Yes, again, business is important, but where is the whiskey best for our palates? And that's how we do it. This is about 42% peated, and it is it's just under 5 years in bourbon, and then a 26-month finish in Madeira. So age statement, unfortunately, is like 6 years and 10 and a half months, but it's just shy of 7 total.
Got a fabulous nose.
Yeah, again, don't feel compelled
berries,
just because I'm
berries on the palates. The berries are right there on the palate.
Yeah.
Right up front. You're right. The salt's still there too.
Yep. Agreed, Tommy.
Fantastic. I like
This
this
is one of
a
our
lot.
favorites. We got a bottle already.
Yeah.
amazing.
On that note, Caitlin, so my local specs, Caitlin, the only thing that they've ever had as far as AD is the cash strength. And they still have it, and they've had it all the time, but I don't have access to AD. Just the cash strength. I've bought a couple of bottles. It's the 23 release, which I had the chance to try the 22. I must say I prefer the 22, but you know, I was that's the only one I can buy. So that's and then when I go to Houston, I found McLean's nose and I wiped them out. I bought like 6 of them. So that's how that, you know, I mean, I couldn't help myself for $27. I'm not going to stop drinking scotch. And so, bam, that hits the spot, you know. That hits
I like
the
this
spot.
guy quite a bit.
But
all about
Caitlin, if you
every
can get
piece of
anything
that.
else AD out to my Nacogdoches specs, I'll buy it. If you can get something else AD out there.
This has got such a great nose and such a great palate. And I'm not a Madeira cask guy. I'm not. I mean, Kaylin, you know, when you gave me this, remember you gave me this, and I was like, oh, this is incredible. Unbelievable. Yeah, this is fabulous.
Sorry, I'm just catching up on the chat here. Fergus driven 2024 sherry. Yeah, I'm a fan of that as well. This is drinking, Scott. What do you? This is drinking more peated than my full bottle 2025 Madeira. Can you?
Yeah, I mean, I have a couple of these bottles at home, and I didn't pick up as much peat when I started drinking one of those bottles as I did drinking the sample you sent. And also, it feels like the sample you sent is a little lighter. Now, I don't know if it was because we started with peated. I've been trying to wash my mouth with water in between. But anyway, it felt a little more peated than when I initially drank it.
Same burgundy color.
Yeah,
label,
it's the same label. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm not getting that much peat on it at all. I'm getting more of the sweeter elements. I mean, I get the little smoke, but not a lot of peat.
look, the palate's a fickle beast, right? Like, let's be honest. I think, you know, I should mention too, the reason that I asked is we did technically make, this is batch 2 of Madeira. So we made a fully unpeated cask strength one in October of 2022. But that was before we had established kind of the cask release series with the sherry, the mezcal, et cetera, Sauterne. So that was a white label. So Madeira will be burgundy maroon going forward. You had it there. No, that's the new one.
She had it there. There's nothing left
That's
in
the
it.
new one. Are you muted, Kaylin? Can't hear you.
Yeah,
you're not.
She might have. Did you mute yourself? Because I don't see you muted. Okay. No.
He's still here, but he's not going to make it. Sorry.
How's it now? Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's good there.
I accidentally touched something on my headphones.
Ah, nice. What were you
Yeah.
saying? Sorry.
That's the exact bottle that I used for all the samples going out.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
It'll be from the same. Literally, was in the same vat. So there can still be some slight variation, but yeah, the palate does have its fun with us sometimes, doesn't it? Cool. People are liking that. Happy with that.
Love it.
Nice. Let's do Dram 4. And then I'll introduce Dram 4, and then I'll talk a little bit. We talked about the QR code and the sustainability. I'll talk a little bit about sustainability. QR code and transparency. I'll talk a little bit about sustainability. But Dram 4 is the Impex cask, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I don't have this, so lucky you guys.
Wait,
but,
which one? Is that the 6 year? Is that labeled the 6 year?
Yeah, we still not important.
Is this Madeira? Yeah.
Okay, so the Impex single. I got you. Okay.
Impex single cast. So this is a single cast. So all of our single casts, you guys have probably, hopefully, seen them in the Texas market in specs.
Yeah, they're all over.
But they're in this sort of label, yeah. So
yeah, with the Impex,
Caitlin,
with the Impex.
please bring that to Nacogdoches. I want that bottle so bad.
I'll talk to Brittany and see what I can do.
Okay, thank
What are
you.
you gonna do?
Bring some
Talk to
good
Brittany.
whiskey.
Yeah.
Bring some good single malt to Nacogdoches is what I want to happen. Okay. Thank you.
So a little bit about the bottle. I know you guys have just sample bottles, but just to explain, if you ever see this, it's a single cask, but they'll obviously all be different. So this one is something completely different from what you guys are drinking with the Impex logo on it. I did help to select that cask for Impex, so I do know what it is, even though I don't have a bottle. So I believe it was 782. Is that right?
Let's see.
Very Hoggy?
Which one is
Cast
it?
number?
Yeah.
Cast number is 359.
359. Oh, okay, got it. Way
Yeah.
off. Had a different one picked out. I think it's still Spanish Oak unpeated sherry, right?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, cool.
There you
Yeah,
go.
one I have here is this one. I don't know if anybody can see it. Nope.
Yeah, it's in the screen now.
Everyone just hold bottles up.
That's a favorite.
Yeah, there it is.
Yeah, this is my favorite. 782.
That's a real favorite.
Hey Carl,
okay.
do you want to scan it with your phone?
I do. I
The
do.
782 is definitely one of the best.
Which was 782 for specs?
Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
It was.
That's a different one.
It's really, really good.
So this one, from my recollection, was quite hot. It's hot as in not in terms of palate, but it's like over 60%. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is
Here in the-
60.3.
Yeah. So look, the thing to say about this is basically Impex is a great partner of ours. And I think the important in terms of the storyline, we're born of Adelphi, right? We are an independent bottler at heart.
Yeah.
And if we didn't do single casks with loyal partners throughout the world, which is what we do, it would just be hypocritical, right? We want people that support our brand largely to have a cherry, right? To have a fun thing that's just theirs to sell to the market. And that's how we've always operated. So frankly, it's a huge pain in the ass doing single casts, but it's tremendously important. We do the opaque blue-gray bottles for actually a reason. Obviously, it's sort of a signifier of a special bottle, but it's also an approximation of the color of the rock when you're out on the Ardnamurchan Peninsula. So Ardnamurchan is an extinct volcano. So the whole peninsula is volcanic rock. So very often, if you're hiking around, it has this bluish tinge to the rock. So it's a little bit of a nod to the peninsula there as well. And then I mentioned I worked in a bar in DC and restaurants, other bars as well. My boss, Connell, managed 5-star hotels for a decade. My other colleague, Graham, also worked in bars and restaurants. So the hydrometer, the clear hydrometer that you can see through, you can actually see the level on my bottle here, is obviously a bit of a marketing thing. It looks kind of cool. But also, if you've ever done inventory at 2 a.m. after a long Saturday night and you come across that Bruichladdich bottle and you have no idea how much whiskey's in it, that's annoying. I'm not calling Bruichladdich out. Love Bruichladdich, but any opaque bottle. So we wanted to give a little bit of a nod to hospitality as well for the people that work those crazy hours and have to do those sorts of things. So that's that as well. But yeah, from what I remember about 359, just a big, beautiful, unpeated sherry Spanish oak hogshead. Still, hopefully, has that Ardnamurchan character. Yeah, good color there. Happy with that. Kaylin, I'll let you chime in if you've got anything, and not to put you on the spot, but
No, it's just great. It's something that it doesn't drink like it's proof at all.
Yeah,
which is kind of scary. It's like you get more like the mocha, like hot chocolate, like powdered ones you get in the packets. Is that kind of chocolate that you get through it?
Nice.
I put water in mine, guys. I mean, 60%. I'm going to put a little 5 milliliters every time. Just me.
That's good.
Preference.
I'm going to do the same.
Most of the best whiskey bars in Scotland have a wee tap for you to fill a water jug, and they'll give you a dropper without a second thought. So if anyone thinks that they're too cool to put water in their whiskey, hey, look, if you don't like water in your whiskey, that's fine. But if you think it's a coolness thing,
no, it's sometimes you get
I learned that however somebody wants to drink their whiskey, that's on them. However you like it. But for me, 60%, even 57%, it destroys my palate, and then I can't enjoy the rest of the dram. But I found that for myself, for my palate. That's I found that out.
Absolutely fair.
I think that some whiskeys do need a little water because the spice is just overwhelming.
Especially if it's younger. If it's younger and it's high proof, it tends to burn my palate.
But there's some whiskeys that are in the 60s and they don't drink like a 60. They drink like a 57.
Yeah.
So I think it's just it's random, you know. I mean,
it is.
Glenallachie, but not to bring up Glenallachie because we're on Ardnamurchan. But anyways, the Glenallachie 62, and it does not drink like a 62 by any means.
Yeah,
I can't believe you would bring up Glenallachie.
How could you dare? How dare you?
I'm just telling them. I'm trying to use it as a.
So for context, we're quite close with the Glenallachie crew in general. Alex knows Billy. Andrew Mustard, who I'm assuming you guys have seen around a time or two, lives about a 7-minute walk from my place. So we hang out, we have pints, we're friendly, like it's all good. We love those guys.
Yeah, he'll be here in November.
The Mutard himself?
He's coming with Billy.
He's brilliant. He's a great guy.
I'm gonna take him to Bucky's.
Take him to Bucky's. Make sure he buys one of those stuffed animals.
Taylor's gonna get me to Texas next year. I think that's where we're gonna make that happen. We're gonna make that happen. I would love that. I've only ever been to Austin once. That's all.
You need like 2 weeks here though to actually have some time in each city.
I'm fine with that.
Okay.
Can we just not do summer though? I'll die.
I would say spring
degrees,
or
man.
fall.
Don't go to Austin in the summer. Don't.
I'm not going to go anywhere in your state in summer. I hate to break it to you guys. Like,
I don't blame you. I don't want to be
March or April.
Great, love it.
What is it?
Connell wants to come too, actually.
What's the price?
Yeah, the more the merrier. Tell DJ to join in.
Hey, Carl, Caitlin, what's the price point on this 6-year-old?
That one is right around 100.
It's really good.
It's a great deal.
Yeah, maybe 115 max, but I don't think it's that.
I'm looking at it right now on the shelf. It is $119.99 cash, $126.31.
Wait, but it doesn't have the key card on it. The specs key card.
Right?
Yeah, plus with all your points,
Yeah. Scott, you might get it for free.
So, Carl,
I should get it for free as
Carl,
much as I spend there.
so tell us how a 6-year-old whiskey can be this dark.
So that gentleman from southern Spain I was telling you about, Miguel, that's
Mhm.
the answer.
Okay.
So I get up to the distillery. I'm actually going to the distillery in 8.5 hours. I have to get up early tomorrow to head up with I'm hosting someone up there. But I have sampled in the last 3 weeks, I've sampled 5-year-old casks that are way darker than that. Right? Like they're
One of those is ours, right, Carl?
I like what you did there. I enjoyed that. But look, and then you'll have one immediately next to it. You guys have heard this story, right? You'll have one immediately next to it that's this color, right? Still dark, but nowhere near the Dr. Pepper that you might get from another one. So that's the fun of it, right? That's why we still try to get up there. We're all way too busy. I'm sure everyone on this call is, right? We all know how that feels. But like it's important to keep an eye on these casks because you'll get into a 500-liter sherry butt that you would expect to not be anywhere near ready, and it is absolutely singing. It's ready to go, and we have to know about that. And there's, we make 400,000 liters per year, so that's not big, right? For context, Glenfiddich's at 27 million, 28 million, but it's. Until recently, it's almost double what Springbank was making. And then the context that I like to say, if you think about a brand like Glengoyne is in every market in the world, more or less. Let's call it 150 countries, I'm betting. They make 1.1 million. So we're a little less than half of that. So we make a decent amount of whiskey, right? There's a lot of casks up there. We're a small team. But we all try to keep an eye on them to see where the color's going, see what's ready. This is half of the time. This is how we pick single casks, right? So, to recollection, the specs one was actually in a blending session. So that was 782 then, right?
The specs one.
This is the one I have.
Let's see.
I'm trying to do this. You can't really see it. I don't know why.
Is it number 782?
Yeah, that's
There it
what I
is,
have. Yeah, it's a specs. That's a specs one.
It's a specs.
Yeah.
It was.
So-
When my wife actually got me that for my birthday last year, and then I made a mistake and tried to carry it under my arm, and that was a big mistake because it went
no.
and it broke on my birthday the day we opened it. So we bought another one. We saw it. And we bought another one. And we'll probably buy another one because this is more than halfway gone now. So,
yeah. So
fabulous cast.
just to say the two ways that we find single casks. The one is what I was just talking about, is just rooting around in the warehouses, finding something crazy, saying, who's been selling a lot of whiskey, who's doing a good job, who's been a great partner, et cetera, et cetera. The other way, so that I think was 359. So the one that you're drinking was just Connell and I in the warehouse getting after it, frankly. The other one,
Is it Connell or Column?
Connell.
Connell. Okay, yeah.
We have a lot of C's in our team. It's quite annoying.
Yeah, I know Column too.
Yeah. The other way is at blending sessions. So the 782 was when we were making that 2024 sherry batch or something else. But anyway, we very often will find a particularly tasty sample and set it aside as good enough for a single cask. So those are the two main ways that we'll source something that's special, right? Is most of those we still put into batches because we want the whiskey to be great and unique and interesting. But we do pull casks when we're sitting at the blending table and something comes around and we all knows it and we're like, holy shit, what is that? Right? That's something that one of us will then taste and be like, yeah, that's good enough for a single cask. Let's pull that out.
Yeah.
So that's one thing that we do. I haven't talked about sustainability. I will, but let's do whiskey 5.
Yeah,
Let's do whiskey 5.
I can't read it. I can't see it. It's too small.
So whiskey 5 is cask strength. Actually, sorry, I'm just going to be, you guys got to have a single cast, but instead of that, I've got batch 1 of Sherry 2023 August, batch 1 of the Sherry cast release, which is an absolute barbecue pit. So hopefully that resonates with Texans. It's got that barbecued meat thing that I really love in certain Sherry casts, especially when they're peated.
Hey, Carl,
Interesting.
that last dram, the unpeated Oloroso.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to say, I mean, it was delicious and all, but I missed the little bit of peat for me, for my
I like your
palate.
style, man.
I mean, I like the way you put not too much peat. I just wanted to get a little bit of that smokiness. When you mentioned the barbecue, I was like, if some of this is peated, it might taste barbecuey.
Yeah. So definitely track down. I don't know how much is in market just now because it's been a few months, but if you track down, so the new version of this with the same color label, if you're able to find that, I know you were saying you can only get the cast strength in your market, but
I go to Houston sometimes, so
so this is partially peated.
Tommy, we'll talk after this.
Yeah, that sounds good. Yes, thank you. Yeah.
So on that note, we're switching to more peated. So the cast strength is cast strength. So depends obviously on the compilation of casks, but usually sits somewhere between 57 and 59%, depending on the batch. The US batch right now, I believe, is 58.3.
Yep.
Doesn't matter.
That is correct.
Nice.
Yes.
Still got it. And this is the one. This is the most stripped back, pure peated Ardnamurchan that we make in terms of a core range. So
What's the ppm on this one, Carl?
So this is all of our peated. That's actually not true. I should correct myself. In this instance, it's 30 ppm.
30.
And that 30.
Okay.
Highland peat. And it is not quite the entire vatting. So we always include a couple of unpeated casks. So this is about 95% peated, and it's about 90% bourbon. So we really want that big,
lovely,
bright kind of. For me, a lot of my favorite batches of cast strength have like a charred lemon thing, like a smoky, salty, but citrus as well. That's me. That's my palate. Doesn't matter. But I just love how engaging this is. This is, to me, the one that really speaks Ardnamurchan. When you guys all come, this is Ardnamurchan in a glass for me. Even more, I shouldn't say that really, like, because the flagship really is that. But the cast strength for me is even more kind of viscerally associated.
Yeah, this is it right here, man.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
This is the distillate.
Correct.
Is this 2025? Is this the 2025?
That'll be 2024. That'll be that shipped.
I'll try to
Shipped in the fall. I think it landed maybe just before Christmas with you guys, or maybe, or I don't know. But it was bottled in 24.
So are we still sampling cash on a different one?
What's that? Sorry.
Are we still on the cash strength release, the 58.3%, or are we?
That's the one. Yeah.
Okay. So we're still.
So this is a good, because this is just beautiful peated whiskey. I'll talk on sustainability quickly now, and you guys can kind of enjoy that dram, and then we'll get on to the last one, and you guys can have any questions you might have. Let it rip. So the reason I kind of don't bring this up at the start is the most important thing for Ardnamurchan and for our team is the liquid, and you guys engaging with the liquid and hopefully enjoying it. And if you don't, like I've said previously, that's all right. But we want you to know everything you can about what we're doing, what we're making. We also built a distillery in the 21st century. So we were in this beautiful remote part of Scotland. We made the decision to try to distill whiskey, which is resource intensive by definition. I think we should just not try to get around that. It uses a lot of water, a lot of grain. There's a lot of input to making whiskey. We tried to minimize the impact where we could, right? So the entire site is run by a biomass boiler. And that boiler is fueled by wood chip that's renewably harvested from 2 miles down the road, so on the peninsula. So there's a guy named Huey who brings a shit ton of wood chip on a tractor, dumps it into a big hopper. There's an auger that runs that into the boiler. And not only does that produce steam that then heats the stills, the mash tuns, everything, but it also heats the entire visitor center and the staff accommodation that's on site. So there's no oil. I know Houston's good for oil, but it's just renewable wood chip because that's what we have. And the idea of oil tankers up and down our road every day is quite a thing, right? It would be a beast. We also do solar and hydroelectric, so we put more into the grid than we would take, or than we do take. So trying to kind of keep it, we use, I guess the buzz term is the circular economy, right? So we try to keep it on the peninsula if possible. But again, it uses water, it uses these things. We're just trying to keep the impact light because it's such a beautiful part of Scotland. So that's the little pitch there. That's what underground pipelines are for. Fair enough. That's what I deserve on a Houston call. That's fair. But yeah, it's important to us. So it's worth mentioning. But it seems like people are liking the cast strength. Yeah. Cool.
I think the single cast,
Beautiful.
yeah, the single cast is my favorite so far.
Mm-hmm.
And the Madeira. I love the
Yeah, the
Madeira.
Madeira.
That was really
Madeira.
good.
I mean,
Really
Yeah,
good.
Madeira.
if the single cask isn't up there, then we're not doing our job in selecting them, right? That's the whole.
Yeah.
That's the whole premise. So I'm glad to hear that. But
Fabulous.
equally, we want people to like the stuff that we sell a fair amount of, right? That's the goal. Is enjoy a bottle, get another bottle.
Carl, I have a question for you. I know we don't have this today, but
Really good.
can you just speak a little bit about the Paul Noir cask finished
sure.
bottles? And does anybody here know if any of those are still available in Houston?
Caitlin.
They never came to the U.S. No, but
You can. Yeah, there she is.
thank you, DJ.
On my
You
way.
better, you better like cut that out of the video with Sam so he doesn't like get all mad,
I'm happy to talk
They're
about
just gonna have
this,
to make a U.S. release.
Be cutting that out.
So I can kind of get out of this because the 10-year has Paul and Law on it, and you guys got the 10-year. So
Yeah,
we did.
that's the closest that, well, until maybe next year. The fundamental problem is the U.S., as you guys know, is huge, and we get 12 casks from this champagne producer a year, right? So we're talking about 2,800 to 3,200 bottles. We're in 48 markets. So, and then frankly, this is no one's fault. It's certainly not Impex's fault, but label requirements in the US are an absolute bear. So we would be doing a whole new label run for like 72 bottles to the States. Like, it just doesn't make any sense from a commercial standpoint. Each state would get like half a case. Like, it's just ridiculous. So that is unfortunate for now. We are now going to have about double that. So they've been sending more like 20 to 25 casks, which gets us up to like the 5,000 mark, which makes it a little bit more viable to at least give the US hopefully a taste. But just to explain what it is, so it has developed into kind of our cult whiskey. No one really knows why. The casks really work with our distillate. I guess that's why. Or people like the word champagne. If you believe in marketing, it depends. But I think it's delicious whiskey. Basically, since 2021, we have made we're friends with a couple that owns a tiny Grand Cru champagne house. So there's 17 Grand Cru villages in the Champagne region. They are in one of the most famous. It's called Le Mesnil-sur-Oger. So Krug makes a bottling from a single vineyard that's directly behind their vineyard that they sell for 2,000 pounds a bottle. These guys are just a couple. They sell them for like 65 pounds. We're actually a distributor in the UK. It's glorious stuff. And they send us casks. So we make an unpeated cask strength Ardnamurchan that's finished for about 18 months in their champagne barriques. Now, before anyone jumps on me, I'll beat you to it. They're Chardonnay barriques, right? Because it's not champagne until it's in the bottle. But it's a Grand Cru champagne house. Like it's casks that were used to make what becomes champagne. The 10-year, excuse me, is about half of the batch is a 1 year rather than 18-month finish on those same casks. But we got a much larger batch, which is why the US was able to see a decent volume of that. So that definitely gives you the idea of Paul Lenoir. It's not quite the same as the cask strength bottling, but that's where we sit for now.
Hey,
So,
Todd.
Yeah.
Sorry, Todd.
Yes.
Did you drink that AD cask strength? Try it.
I mean, I did. It's gone.
Okay, I was making sure. I just didn't know if you.
I know.
get
I
that.
know. You think I'm?
It's heavily
So
peated.
tell me, everybody thinks I'm this guy that does not drink peated whiskey. I do actually drink peated whiskey, but I like peated whiskey that is not super campfire.
Okay.
Now,
You can't tell them it's peated
Don't
before you
kill
give it to
Holman.
them.
So kill Holman's out. Don't kill Holman.
Carl, what did you just pour?
Sorry?
What did you just pour?
Sorry.
What? You caught that, did you? I'm gonna go to the raised hand, and then I'll tell you what I poured. Who's got a raised hand? That's very polite.
Sorry,
Not
that's
your-
me.
not
I
your
was
raise
just gonna ask because we were at Specs, our local liquor store. We saw the Ardnamurchan 10-year on the shelf. We weren't sure yet. We're just gonna look up more about it. But I just looked it up and I saw it at least for the Google AI overview. It says half first fill bourbon and half Paul Lenoir champagne barriques. So is that true? And then also, what are your thoughts on the 10-year? What are the notes you get from that?
Oh, it's absolute shit, the 10-year.
Because there was only one left on the shelf, so I was just like, oh man, that's really tempting now. But
I would buy it. Not that I'm biased.
Okay.
You can get it.
Get rid of it.
You
Just
can
buy
get it
it
all
for that.
over.
It's,
You can get it all over though, guys. I see it all in a lot of the specs. So if you need it, let me know.
It is running low. I looked at numbers the other day.
Yeah.
So it is getting down there.
So it is. That is. AI did get that right. That's encouraging. So it is half first fill bourbon, unfettered, clean. Important thing to note, and maybe a good reason to buy it, in my opinion, is that we very rarely do fully unpeated bottlings. And that is what this is. So the simple reason for that, I mentioned that our first distillation run was August 1st, 2014. And I mentioned that we do 6 months, about 6 months of the year for each unpeated and unpeated, excuse me. So in 2014, we didn't do any peated distillation, which just by logic means if you do a 10-year in 2024, you can't have any peated distillate in there. So the 10-year that's on shelves is entirely unpeated. Half of the batch is just first fill bourbon through and through. And then the other half is first fill bourbon for 9 years with a 1 year finish on the Grand Cru champagne, bottled at 50%. It's decidedly different from anything you've had tonight, in my opinion. It's elegant, it's soft, it has a little bit more sweetness, it's still saline. It's lovely stuff. We tried to keep the price reasonable. That's a huge thing for us. Yeah, the single cask, $120. That's not cheap, right? But we want people to drink the whiskey. It's not for. I'm seeing questions. Sorry, I got distracted. But yeah, that's my pitch on the 10-year.
Have you just because I started in wine and worked my way to Scotch, do you by chance know the notes of Paul Lenoir? I haven't actually had their champagne. Is it more like bready or is it more citric and acidic?
Well, I mean, you should try it, I guess.
Yeah.
I would say it depends on your palate. I think part of why I think there's sort of a synergy between our whiskey and their wine is their wine also has pretty apparent levels of minerality. And so that salinity that we have in our distillate, I think, lines up pretty nicely with what's soaked into their casks. They do a pretty wide array, like they're relatively modern as far as champagne goes. So they have stainless, they do oak, they do mixture. So in terms of like, they do different expressions, monochrome, composition, illustration, and a couple others. So there isn't a hard answer to your question, but it's pretty lovely stuff for the money. We'll put it that way. Champagne is very rarely cheap, as we all know. But for a Grand Cru, I mean, yeah, it's good. That's my best answer.
Yeah, cool.
I'm conscious I've got 3 minutes for my last dram. Sorry, I do want to answer Riley's question. Have we done any peated runs of Golden Promise? Great question. And I should talk about barley. If I were better at my job, that'd be a really good idea. I'm going to say no, Riley, but I'm going to put that at like 72% confidence, maybe 78% confidence. I will check and I will get back to you. I'll route it through Caitlin and we'll make sure you guys know. I think it's all been unpeated. I'm pretty sure.
Thank you.
But yeah.
Yep.
Final dram is Mezcal. Again, technically, we see what you guys think about this compared to cast strength.
Been looking forward to this one.
Yeah, so this is a fun
Very
one,
different.
right? So
Yeah.
we're quite traditional in many ways. Bourbon and sherry, very traditional for Scotch whiskey. But you've seen now Madeira, slightly unusual. This is very unusual, not only for whiskey, but for Mezcal, right? You guys are much closer to Mexico than I am right now. So I'm assuming you guys know full well, like the vast majority of Mezcal isn't matured. There are no casks. And in fact, a good number of producers are pretty pissed that people matured at all, right? So the fact that we even have these casks is relatively unusual. Before you ask, they were purchased through a broker, so I cannot confirm where they came from. And this is just me speaking, not anyone's company or anything. If I were to deduce, an educated guess would be illegal, simply because I don't know. Maybe Caitlin or one of you guys knows. I don't know that many producers that make aged Mezcal at the volumes required to then sell casks to brokers. Maybe there's a few. Los Donzantes is another one, but I'm guessing it's illegal.
Okay.
What's that?
Montelobos. I think they make
Ubal.
quite a bit of mezcal. Never mind.
Lucano, but most likely I think it is going to be illegal. Whenever I was there, I saw the casks and I was doing research for like a month and a half. And I think it narrowed down to it could only really be illegal or one or two other ones.
Yeah.
Is Mezcal popular enough in Scotland is that what like spurred this on, or was it like a pet project by someone at the distillery, or?
No, we buy fun shit. It was.
I love that.
I think you can get mezcal in Scotland barely.
There was 22 casks. So we've got again, like I said, huge majority bourbon, massive second number two is sherry, but we've got Madeira, we've got Mezcal, we've got Tokai, we've got port, white port, different Manzanilla, Fino. You know, we have other fun things, but just not in volume. It's for this kind of release. So the US, because I have moments where I'm logical, I insisted on, I think you guys got 20% of the batch, right? Because there's so much more agave fervor stateside. Agave is just kicking off in most of Europe. Tequila is getting there, like decent tequila is getting there. There's some good mezcal that you can get your hands on, but it's far away, right?
There's some good mezcal out there, like real good. I'm not so sure about tequila, but mezcal, because I like smoke, I like peat, and mezcal hits that, man. It's really good.
So I'm pleased with it. I'm not drinking it because I've only got a couple bottles, and I'm going to try to make them last, and I've already gotten into it. But 55%. So this is actually the most peated whiskey.
That's funny.
So this is fully peated distillate. filled into mezcal casks. It's about a 20-month finish. Started in bourbon. I think the risk here, I think almost anyone would acknowledge, is there are quite a few, in my opinion. Again, I'm getting pretty direct here. There's quite a lot of agave matured Scotch whiskey that I don't think works. I think the dovetailing of the spirit with the aggressiveness of the agave is a very dangerous play. I think ours works, but I'm biased, right? I think Kilhoman's worked. I think there's a couple others. The Deanston one was pretty good, but there have been another few that I thought were pretty poor. Yeah, that's my opinion. But I hope you guys like it. It's a fun special thing. I wanted to make sure the state's got a decent bit. But yeah,
It's surprisingly good, to be honest.
yeah. Yeah,
I do like mezcal though, so I do have a background with mezcal,
and you like peated, so
and I like peated, so it
Oh my
could
God.
work, and it does.
all the hearts from Chris. Double
Yeah.
filtering works.
Chris
perfect.
likes it.
You
Love it.
go,
Yes.
Chris. Go.
Yes.
Anyone dislike it? I'd love to
Wow.
hear. I'd love to hear negative. Honestly, if there's
Well, if you
someone
didn't
that's not
like
working
mezcal,
for it.
you wouldn't like it. I promise you. If you don't like mezcal, you're not gonna like it because there's a good amount of that flavor, that cactusy, smoky,
vegetal.
cactusy flavor. Vegetal,
Yeah.
yeah, vegetal.
Yeah, but I think there's still peated Ardnamurchan too. Caitlin doesn't like it. I can
Sweet
see
Pea
it.
didn't like it. You want
No,
some
it's-
criticism? Sweet Pea didn't like it. I just handed her a sip. Sweet Pea, come show them. Sweet Pea.
No, I'm sewing.
Sweet Pea didn't like it. Okay. She
My
doesn't like
thing is,
mezcal.
I've had a bad issue with just Blue Weber agave
Oh, I did like
in the past, like few years. So as soon as I smell any kind of agave, I'm just like I just have that reaction. But the best way for me to describe it is it tastes like mezcal without the agave. And I love Espadine, I love Topola, I love mezcal, I really do, and it doesn't mess with my stomach as much as Blue Weber does. But this tastes like mezcal without the agave, which is the weirdest kind of explanation I can say.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah,
so
I
I'm
see
not,
you, though.
I'm not taking a chance because I'm allergic to it, as you know. So I cannot
Well,
drink
it's-
at all. So I'm not like going to take a chance, and I'm gonna let Dale try it when he gets back. And
Yeah.
I'm not going to take a chance.
It's definitely a mood pour,
Oh, no.
or pour this for somebody. Pour this for some guests that come over. A mood pour. It's definitely very different.
Yeah.
Very
I just
different.
want to quickly agree with Patrick's comment, and I probably should have. I've gotten used to posing this in Europe and the UK, but you're absolutely right. Like mezcal is really more earthy, and yeah, Tommy said, cactus, vegetal, right? Yeah, smoky isn't the perfect descriptor for mezcal. So thank you for saying that. You're absolutely right. We try to bring that out, but I sort of blanked on that. So
Mhm.
It's more like smoked.
yeah,
It's not smoky, it's smoked.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that's a great shout. I think
The salt.
yeah,
The salt's coming in really strong. The salty flavor.
that's good.
I get more salt in this than any of the other drams. Salty, smoky. Hey, I like it. Very different.
Oh, I also never answered. I'm drinking a visitor center exclusive. You can't see that; it's too bright.
Yeah, we can see it now.
1182. This was a fully peated Madeira cask for the distillery, and it's pretty tasty. So I wanted a dram and tried it.
Let me send you my address, buddy.
Yeah.
It's gone, my friend. That is no moss. on that- on
Only
that
you,
cask.
Scott. Right? Only you, Scott.
I'll find it on auction somewhere.
Possible.
I'm drinking the 782 right now.
Anything I missed? Any questions? Anything I can help with?
I got a question really quick on the sherry cask, mezcal cask, and Madeira cask. Are those special releases, or are those kind of in the core range now?
Great question. Yes and no.
You're in the middle.
Yeah. So mezcal special, right? We're not we're not successfully sourcing like fresh mezcal casks very often. We did refill those casks, but that'll be a different beast entirely. Sherry will be gaining traction as a core because we have a lot of sherry casks, right? So that's something we can pretty easily batch up once a year. So basically, sherry is now what cask strength was 3 years ago, which was we can make a big enough batch to last most of the year, and then it might run out before we make another batch, or it might not. Whereas like now with cask strength, we're in enough of a flow where that's always available. We're just kind of propping it up and blending as we need, as with the flagship and McLean's Nose. But sherry, we hope to have pretty much always available. That's the goal from our perspective. Madeira will be semi-regular. We've done pretty well in Madeira.
That's delicious, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a big fan. And then the new Midgie, who I saw someone ask about. I can't speak for Texas. I don't want to dig a hole for Caitlin here. But the U.S. is definitely getting it.
Midgie.
We have plenty of midgies here in Texas, I promise you.
Man, I'll tell you what. You come to Ardnamurchan, and if you have more midgies in Texas, I'll give you $20.
Okay.
I
I'll probably take that. I'll probably take that bet. I'll take that bet.
Wait, $20 or 20 pounds?
Yeah.
Either.
I'll take that bet.
Either.
Carl, what about, are you guys doing anything with Mizunara cask or Chinquapin or anything like that?
Good question. We don't mess around with oak varietal as much as some. You know, I know Rasse does a ton with Chinquapin. I know Glenallachie has a decent amount of Mizunara. You guys are familiar with how expensive Mizunara is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the most expensive cask.
I don't even think it's the greatest cask either. So
look, it's great. It's an oak tree. Like,
yeah,
it's okay. That's a cynical comment, right? I'm not saying there's not some amazing Mizunara finishes out there or full maturations. I have from the aforementioned Andrew Mustard. I've got a little 10 CL of that. What was that? The 17-year-old Mizunara that they did. Is that right?
The one for
the Master of Wood.
Yeah, I've got some of that. It's glorious stuff. Don't get me wrong, but those casks are expensive as hell. So I don't know that we have any Mizunara in warehouse. I'm trying to think what we have fun. Yeah, I should talk. Golden Promise. We do 2 weeks a year. So we mess around a little bit more with barley than we do with wood or yeast as of right now. The Golden Promise releases, we started distilling that in 2018. So those are coming into form as of last year, and they're delicious. We've got a Golden Promise release in the next few months. And then we also do heavily peated. Which is not ready yet. That started in 2020, and that's 85 ppm. So that's going to be a new thing, kind of a new tool in the toolbox, so to speak.
When you say heavily peated, is that like double ppm or like what does heavily peated mean?
85.
85. Okay.
85 going in. Sorry, I should just to be clear. So almost 3 times our standard peated. We've done Chevalier, which is a historic barley strain as part of a project. But we're still pretty traditional roots, right? Adelphi is super traditional, old school. You can't read our labels. It's just about the liquid. So that's still kind of where we start from. But yeah, we've got some fun barley things. We've got mezcal cask. There's bits and pieces that fit into the fabric of what we're doing. I should say too, a fun part, everything is matured on site. So we have 19,000 casks in 6 warehouses on the peninsula. So there's none of this, not that this is necessarily bad or good, but I think there are some companies that are not particularly honest about it. There's companies with all this marketing marketing stuff about their warehouses getting hit by waves and things like that. But like most of their whiskeys outside of Glasgow. So yeah, all of our whiskeys on Ardnamurchan and aging there until we decide to bottle it.
Yeah, come on. I don't think so.
Is the Golden Promise release coming up? Is that going to be distillery only, or is there going to be allocations out? Like, how are you going to be able to get that?
I don't know just yet. There's one release between now and then that will be coming stateside. Again, sorry, Caitlin, I don't mean to dig you in here as far as Texas goes, but that I know is going to the States. The other is still, I know it's happening. I just don't know how it's going to go out. We haven't done allocation on it just yet, but yeah, there's a decent amount of it.
Yeah, so we need just as detailed the label is, we need that detailed allocation list too.
Look at
Hey,
you,
we have to
man.
keep have to keep some mystery. Like, we're pretty straightforward, you know. I'm not going to tell you where all the bottles are going right off the bat before the label is not even released to the markets yet.
Nice.
You gotta let me have a little bit of fun with you.
Right. Exactly, Carl. Sometimes you have to have fun with this. The hunt is half the battle, Scott.
That's it.
So you're telling me, man, I hunt all over the place. You can't.
Me too, but I'm just saying, if there's no hunt, there's no fun.
Hey, Carl. Quick question on the single cask releases. So far, it seems like the majority of them have either been peated bourbon or unpeated sherry. Can we expect some additional cask varietals in the future on the single cask releases?
Yes, although most of what we put out for single cask is bourbon or sherry, peated or unpeated. So we just don't have enough of anything else to just like start throwing them out there. Like, if you think about the mezcal 22 casks, we're decimating a release by 5% if we do a single cask, right? So we have to be smart about it on some level. But for example, I know for a fact K&L in San Francisco, who was it that was there? Scott? Who's sitting there right now?
Yeah, I'm literally going there.
Yeah.
Later
So
on today.
I picked their single cask, which probably means it's terrible, but I loved it. So that's like a 7.5 year unpeated bourbon, and it is just fruit cocktail at cask strength. Like, it is glorious. Absolutely. I'm actually like kicking myself for not telling Impex that there were, 210 bottles instead of 230 and just keeping like 3 cases for myself, because I loved it.
You should have.
I should have. Yeah, I'm genuinely considering emailing Helen and just kind of like asking her to pull one aside for me, but I did.
Well, I will grab one for you and I can send it to you.
That's kind of you. I'll be in the States in September, so I'll probably be able to facilitate something. But yeah, so long story short, yeah, there's an unpeated bourbon at K&L. Specs has had one,
and it was the best Ardnamurchan I've ever had.
Oh, never mind.
Cool.
What's K&L? I mean, is that a store in
K&L Wine Merchants? It's right off of Highway 80 downtown San Francisco.
Yeah. I was trying to figure it out. I'm like, K&L. I'm like, wait. Huh?
Benny's has had 2 in Chicago.
Oh yeah, Benny's Chicago.
Yeah, Benny's got a lot of shit.
And then from there, it's kind of it's in Impex's hands, if we're honest. Like, we I just keep
Taylor.
I know.
But by that I mean we send samples to Impex. They select ones that they like, and then it's their market, right? And we give them full power to kind of sell to who wants it and can handle. A single cask is a tough thing to sell, if I'm honest. Like, it seems really great, but it's a big number of bottles for one, unless you've got multiple locations like Specs or Benny's or what have you. It's a big ask for an account, so they have to be quite tactical about it.
Yeah.
Hey, Carl. So I'm connected with the Whiskey Stories people. I know you recently had a chat with them.
You did.
And so they've told me that the area, the land where Ardnamurchan is, and the staff, when they go there, it's beautiful. The land, like, the environment, so gorgeous, and the people are so welcoming. What's that mean? What's it look like? What's it look like there?
Oh, right. That's fair. I didn't really explain. I just said it was beautiful, didn't I? So, it's a peninsula that juts into the Atlantic. So just across the road from the distillery is this coastal sea loch. So it's salt water. You've got the hills of the Morvern Peninsula on the other side of the water. There's beautiful hills with heather behind. I don't know if I can share a screen here. Let me see if I can find it. We'll go down the imagery rabbit hole here. Bear with
I
me.
can say it's disgustingly pretty.
I think
That's what they're telling me.
Yeah.
They're saying
It's so
like
pretty.
one of the
It makes
best,
you go,
most beautiful,
oh God.
one of the most beautiful areas of Scotland is what they're telling me. Yeah.
That's definitely true. Well, here, actually, I don't know, can I share my background? Is that real?
You should be able to share.
I'm showing my age here.
I don't know how you do it, but
Here we go.
It's like just the way it's set up. I didn't set it up that way either. I was just like, all right, let's set it up.
I don't know if this is gonna work.
It's more good with the
it was great.
screen.
I mean, it's good seeing everybody too.
Right.
And Scott's chilling. Scott Leach, Casey too.
Can you share?
Trying to.
There
You guys see that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So can you see my cursor?
Yes.
Yeah, we can see you.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah. So
Yeah, is that where you live?
this is warehouse 1 here, yeah?
Okay.
Warehouse 2. And then 3 and 4 are back here. And then 5 and 6 are back here. So this is all salt water.
It's
Right?
here.
If you go just over the hill from this little sailboat, like over here, that's Morvern. So Nicknean is just over the hill right there.
Yeah.
And then this is Mull.
Okay.
So, I mean, I shouldn't do this on a professional call, but it's fucking beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not a profession. This is not hang out.
It's Sunday, man. This is
man.
Sunday.
So, yeah, honestly, the roads, I alluded to it. I didn't really, I don't know, like.
Slightly traumatizing.
Has anyone been? Yeah. Has anyone been to Scotland or Ireland?
Right here. I've been to Scotland 7 times.
All right, so Todd knows.
Yeah.
So
It's
if you're in the
crazy.
Highlands,
Scott,
the roads. You guys see my tiny little UK fridge here? Like the roads are like
You unshared.
yeah, but behind me, my head. I mean here.
Yeah, you got the little like the little
Yeah.
fridge you'd see
Where,
on
where,
the
in,
campers.
where in Glasgow are you?
West End.
West
I'm
End.
right by the Oran Moor.
Okay.
But like the roads are
How do you
probably
get up
like
there? You drive up or you train up?
yeah. I'm driving up tomorrow. Yeah.
2 hours? Oh, no, 4 hours?
It'll be there's a big storm coming in. It's going to be an interesting day.
Right?
It's the fastest I've ever done is 3 hours 5 minutes from Glasgow,
No, wow.
which
That's
was
easy. And
that was-
Mustard lives next
that was
to you,
spicy.
near you? Mustard lives down in Glasgow?
yeah.
Wow, I can't believe that. That's to work. That's crazy. Holy shit.
But Mustard, their office is outside of Glasgow.
Yeah, no, I know that, but I'm like, that's a long drive, man.
Yeah, it's beautiful though. You drive through Glencoe.
No, I know. It's gorgeous.
It's crazy every time. But yeah, the last hour of the drive is the reason I was bringing up my fridge is the road is about the width of 2 of these fridges. Like
We've heard
I know.
It's like the width. So like this is I'm gonna stereotype here. How many of you guys drive pickup trucks?
We have one of our members.
Of course, I live in Texas.
It's a pickup truck.
Up there too, and he's on the call. Not mentioning his name, Scott Leach, but
Scott, get in, man.
So
Scott,
the road is probably more narrow than some of your trucks, to put it that way.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Again, one of our members, not mentioning any names, Scott Leach, can tell us all about.
Yeah, Scott's been up to. Hey, Scott, why don't you tell your stories about?
He's been silent.
What's the question?
Talk about driving Mercedes through the Island region and then crashing Mercedes.
Oh yeah, we went to Isla on honeymoon and we got lucky because it snowed. And as a Houstonian, I don't do snow or ice driving. And we crashed our Mercedes rental car not once but twice. The second time we totaled it, but they gave us another Mercedes rental car, so it wasn't so bad. We had to go back to Glasgow to get it.
Hey Scott, you know I love you, but I had to call you out on that again because you shared that story with a whole bunch of other people.
Oh yeah, it's one of my favorite stories to tell.
You totaled the car on Isla.
Yeah, the first one was on our way to dinner at the Port Charlotte Hotel. We stayed north of Brookladdy, and like I said, it was super snowy, and we were like on this farm road, and it turned right, and we didn't make the turn. It got stuck in the ditch. I put my wife in the driver's seat so I could get the tow hook out, and luckily some linemen came up the road like 5 minutes later, and they were like, "Oh, do you need a tow out of the ditch?" And I said, "Yeah, that'd be great." And so they pulled us out. They were super nice. And the guy pulls me aside and he's like, "Do you let your wife drive the Mercedes regularly?" And I was like, "Nah, man, no."
No,
I didn't have the heart to tell him it was me that put it in the ditch, not her.
Yeah, you probably should have owned that in retrospect, but
I do have one more question for you, Carl. Favorite bar in Glasgow? What do you got?
For a whiskey?
Yeah, favorite whiskey bar in Glasgow.
Both.
So there's two amazing bars in Glasgow. If you're a whiskey drinker, they're the only two answers. Anyone who answers otherwise is out of their mind. The Pot Still and the Bon Accord.
Yeah.
The Bon many prefer because the Pot Still is epic, but it's tiny and 3 blocks from the train station, so it's always packed, which is cool, right? But if you live here, it becomes less and less cool. But I love the Pot. It's one of my accounts. It's an amazing place. I go there every couple of weeks for sure. The Bon is slightly more removed from like the city center, but the lease is up. So there's a lot of concern about whether the Bon Accord will have to move, which would be devastating.
Oh no.
It's kind of an iconic spot. Those are the two, like, for whiskey. There's other places you can get a good dram, like the Piper's great, the Lismore is cool. But those are the two for drams for sure.
Yeah.
I mean, SMWS, if you remember.
Yeah. SMWS is great, but if you're not a member, it's whatever.
But I tend to like old man boozers with like cask ale and like decor that hasn't changed for 115 years. So that's a little bit more my speed.
You can scratch off the left.
But there's plenty of good pubs. And then Edinburgh, it's probably the Diggers or the Diggers, the Athletic Arms.
Yeah.
Or the NCU.
Devil's Den is good too.
What's that?
Devil's Advocate. Sorry.
Devil's Advocate is good. For my money, you go up the hill. It's right on the mile. The Ensign Ewer is the spot.
Yeah.
But there's tons of good spots. Yeah. Is anyone planning a visit other than Todd for his 8th visit or 7th visit?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Caitlin, yeah. Well, shit, I'll see you in like 2 weeks.
We're gonna be able to meet in person?
Yeah, that's right. You're going.
Yeah, Caitlin will be
That'd
on
be
the
great.
Sample bottles.
Caitlin
Yeah.
will be on the peninsula
Sample bottles.
in what's today?
About 18 days,
Just
17,
about 3 weeks,
17
right?
days.
You guys are you're going in about 3
Wait.
weeks, right?
Well, I
28.
fly out on the 20th. I fly out on the 20th, so
You fly out on the when?
the 20th.
Right
We're
on.
going to a couple places first. So
Yeah, I mean, I knew you were hitting everyone, or most people, but.
So does anybody have any other questions?
I do. Where
Bernie, I knew you had a
exactly
question.
source your
Bernie,
peat?
jump in.
Oh, sorry, Caitlin had one. Go on.
Caitlin, go ahead.
Where exactly do you source your peat?
Aberdeenshire,
Okay.
so Eastern Highlands. It's just routed through the maltings.
I know y'all have peat bogs right behind the distillery, though.
know this.
Indeed, we do. Indeed, we do. But again, because as of now, our malt floor is not operational, we would have to harvest the peat and then ship it to the maltster and then bring it back. Which it would be cool to have Ardnamurchan peat. I don't know what the land ownership / sustainability aspect of that is just now, but I would love that. I mean, yeah, most of Ardnamurchan is peat bog on top of volcanic rock. So yeah, that would be very fun. But yeah, it is currently sourced relatively near the company that malts.
Caitlin, where can we get the Madeira cask?
A what?
Where can we get the Madeira?
Oh, Madeira. You can get it at it's definitely at Specs on Rayford Sawdust. They've got 1 million of them.
There it is.
Any other questions, guys?
I
Anyone?
don't have any other question, but Carl, just to, I'm not saying bye neither, but thank you very much for all this class. I'm also planning to go to Scotland, but until next year, it will be March or April. When I saw the background, the image that you were sharing, man, this is amazing. And something that we really like here, and the team is not going to let me lie, is that the brand ambassador are paying us attention, to show all the different editions, and all these tasting activities are just amazing. Thank you very much for that. Definitely, I'll be in touch with you and the rest of the team once that I plan to visit there, because yeah, this brand is definitely one that I will put in my business trip.
That's amazing, man. I appreciate that. And we would love to have you out there. If you can brave the drive, we would love to have you. But look, it's a huge credit to Caitlin. I know the US pretty well, but I don't know the Texas market to save my life, right? I know Specs exists. I know there's other players, and a huge credit to Todd for reaching out as well, right? So it's just all people who love whiskey coming together. I think that's what this always has to be, right? But I appreciate that comment, and from my perspective, it sounds sappy, but we all in every job do a bunch of annoying, boring spreadsheets and emails, and right, you guys have the same stuff that we do. This is the fun part. This is meeting people, talking about the whiskey that we love. So just right back at you, like we appreciate you being on the call and showing an interest. This is I will always stay up late for a virtual or in-person tasting anytime. It's not actually that late. You guys have been very civil to me doing a 3 p.m. thing. But yeah, this is what it's all about, right? It's talking about whiskey with real people. That's what we're here for. So
Anybody else have any questions?
Oh man, thank you all so much. It's been
Carl,
awesome.
Carl, thank you
Thank
so
you
much.
so much, Carol. I
And
appreciate
thank you
it.
guys.
And everybody that's been here, thank you for taking time out of your Sunday to be with us, man. We appreciate you. We love y'all and look forward to seeing y'all soon. We got a lot of events coming up.
Thank you, Carl.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you, Carl.
Carl, Caitlin.
All right, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thanks,
We'll talk
Caitlin.
soon. Thanks,
Thanks,
Carl.
Todd.
Appreciate it.
Thank you,
Thanks,
guys.
Cheers, guys.
Bye.
Bye.